Okay, hi everyone. I'm Dana, and today I'm talking about how we solved anonymous credibility for whistleblowers using zk cryptography. History pivots on disclosed truths, right? We had the Pentagon Papers that ended the war. We had the Snowden reveals that changed how we do global surveillance worldwide. Famously, Hogan's Facebook papers, which changed how we understand social media and our children's safety on social media. However, whistleblowing is still something that is particularly difficult to do. And why is that? The options that we have available today is either one, you have to figure out how to actually do anonymous whistleblowing, involving doing research and understanding that you have to download it to a browser, within that download another application, know how to delete metadata in order to stay safe and have absolutely no metadata that can link you back to your identity. Another one would be through the WikiLeaks or knowing a journalist. That would also involve having to trust that the journalist would have the best interest regarding why you're trying to whistleblow. Apart from that, you have to believe that they won't disclose your identity straight away. Personally, I don't know any journalist that I can just message randomly today and say, for example, I have something going on at the Ethereum Foundation and I need to disclose something but stay anonymous. Does anyone here have contacts to journalists? Seems like everyone's in the same boat. So that's where zk whistleblowing comes in. We basically build a way of ensuring that you stay completely anonymous while solving also the credibility dilemma. And how did we do that? So basically through zero knowledge proofs, we keep your identity private because the proving is done on-chain via zk email. So we just check the DKM signature and we get the domain where you work at. And that creates the verifiability solution. So we create that first foundational level of trust for any journalist or investigator to have at least a source of proof that you are part of a certain organization and they won't spend extra time, they won't lose their time or resources by investigating your claim. Apart from that, we have immutability. So all the files are uploaded to IPFS, which means that they're tamper-proof, which is very important for when doing an investigation, especially when it comes to Web 2 monopolies, which we all know can be very corrupt. And we're working on actually the attestation feature of our product, which basically means that anyone that is part of that organization or anyone that has an email that was contracted by that organization, let's say that you work for the UN, they have a lot of contractors, so anyone that worked with UN would also be able to attest to information that's being shared online. That would be on-chain as well, which means immutability. And for the user themselves, because this is obviously something that is important not just for Web 3 but for Web 2, we had the Boeing plane crash this year, which showcased that even though people do have information, nothing changes because there's no ways of either one, verifying those claims, or secondly, having ways to prove those claims without revealing your identity and losing your career or getting in legal trouble. So the user would simply go to the application, they would click submit a whistleblow, and then they would have to upload an EML file, which is a simple file that anyone can get from their inbox. And once, basically, when you upload your EML file, the verification is done on a device. So that's where we're generating a proof of your domain. And then once verifying that proof, you can actually submit your whistleblow. Right now we have just the public feed, but we're working on product features because we all know that sometimes information needs to stay private until investigation is done so that nothing can be corrupted. So this is a very simple and straightforward user experience. You choose the category, for example, NGO, government or corporate. The actual domain cannot be changed because we're getting that from the DKIM. And then you get the title. I just put ZK Real World Summit as a test, and then once you submit it, it's encrypted and you get So you get the contract ID that you can then track down the line if people attested or if there's anything going on with their submission. And you have the public feed. So on the public feed, you can either track through categories, you can search through your contract ID, or you can just see what else are people submitting. And this is a very simple explanation of what happens. Basically, the EML file, we generate the proof on your device, which then that proof, we get a verification on chain, and the files are stored through IPFS, which ensures that there is anonymity completely for the person that does the whistleblowing. There is also a foundational layer of trust for the investigator or the journalist that wants to look into this claim. And it ensures that we can have more visibility into the wrongdoings that are happening in big corporations, where usually we don't really have a way to know what was wrong until after the disasters are happening. And with that in mind, I want to say that the next Pentagon files or the Panama Papers shouldn't require the sources to sacrifice their lives. We're always looking for more people to help because this is a bootstrap project. It's just me and one more person. So if you're interested in helping out or interested in collaborating on this somehow, please reach out to me. That's my ex, and then you can DM me if you want to collaborate. That would be great. And that's it from my side on how we proved anonymous whistleblowing through zero-knowledge cryptography. Thank you very much.
All right, last but not least, thank you everyone for staying around. Even some people who spoke